Rarely have we seen a takedown of a league commissioner as calmly or efficiently delivered. The fact that it came from Wnba, one of the league's best players and most respected voices, only amplified its impact.
Scott Van Pelt just embarrassed WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert on national TV. And honestly, it wasn't even close. On ESPN, Van Pelt calmly and methodically exposed every flaw in her leadership, or better yet, the complete lack of it. Viewers couldn't believe what they were watching. A respected voice like Van Pelt tearing apart the league's top executive piece by piece. And now, everyone's asking the same question. Is it finally time for Cathy Engelbert to step aside?
The response from WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert came in the form of a statement, which is itself a statement, but not one Engelbert should aspire to make. When a star player says directly, "We have the worst leadership in the world and you are the leader," your response that you're disheartened that your perspectives differ makes me wonder if you heard what Fee said. Because it's not differing perspectives. It was a direct call for your job.
Let's be real, the WNBA has never had this much attention. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Paige Buchers, the league is packed with storylines, hype, and wild energy. You'd expect the talk to be about record-breaking ratings or incredible playoff battles, but nope. The real headline? Scott Van Pelt just destroyed Commissioner Cathy Engelbert on ESPN, and he did it in that trademark SVP fashion. Calm, sharp, respectful on the surface, but absolutely ruthless underneath.
Said, "I've earned this platform," which she had, and said, "I don't care what the fine is," which, if I hear her correctly, is to say you have nothing to threaten me with. The chorus of voices of current stars in the WNBA, which echo Collier's sentiment, didn't have a single opposing voice.
Here's where it all blew up, and it started with Nneka Ogwumike lighting the spark earlier this week. In her exit interview, she didn't hold back, calling out the WNBA's leadership as the worst in professional sports. But she didn't stop there. She allegedly leaked a private conversation where Cathy Engelbert supposedly said Caitlin Clark should be grateful for the WNBA, because without it, she wouldn't be making any money. Wait, what? Did Cathy completely forget the entire Iowa era? Clark's NIL empire was pulling in more cash than most WNBA veterans make in an entire season, long before she ever declared for the draft.
As for what Engelbert is alleged to have said to Collier, if she actually suggested Caitlin Clark should be grateful for what she makes off the court, that's preposterous. Did you miss the Iowa years? Clark is the Tiger Woods tide that lifts all boats, and we know this show is proof. The highest rating we have ever had followed one of her games at Iowa. The WNBA has benefited from her presence more than the other way around, even though this year for Caitlin Clark was essentially lost.
SVP zeroed in on the obvious, something everyone sees except apparently the commissioner herself. Caitlin Clark isn't riding the WNBA's wave. She is the wave. She's the one elevating the league, not the other way around. The WNBA is benefiting from Clark far more than she's gaining from them. And Van Pelt came loaded with proof. ESPN's top women's basketball ratings since college, all connected to Caitlin Clark. The All-Star Game, her presence alone shattered viewership records. Yet somehow Cathy Engelbert thinks Clark should be grateful for the league. That's not just out of touch, that's pure delusion. And the way SVP dismantled it, calm, precise, no shouting, no drama, just facts that cut deep.
On Instagram, who said, and I quote, "It's the care for the human part for me. I'm not sure Cathy knows I've retired. Heard from everyone but her." And I don't like to pile on, that's not my thing. But when a player is beloved, respected, and decorated as Deladon retires as a multiple MVP, league champion, 7-time All-Star, and member of the W25, which celebrated the top 25 players in the league's first 25 years, you throw that woman a parade. To fail even the most basic and decent things to do, which is to reach out to say thanks, which by the way couldn't be easier to do, is to fail the most.
And then SVP dropped another bomb. He brought up Elena Del Don. We're talking about a 2-time MVP, a champion, one of the top 25 players in WNBA history. And what did she say after retiring? That she heard from everyone, fans, teammates, coaches, except Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. Think about that. One of the most respected veterans in the game hangs it up, and the commissioner can't even send a text? That's not leadership, that's neglect. Scott Van Pelt didn't sugarcoat it either. He called it what it was, a total failure to handle even the simplest part of her job, showing respect and appreciation for the players who built the league. A simple thank you costs nothing, but it means everything. And when Cathy finally responded, it was the same empty corporate line, disheartened, committed to collaboration. SVP hit the nail on the head. This isn't about misunderstandings or different perspectives. It's about accountability. And right now, the commissioner is the problem.
Sportico franchise valuations have soared. Players want more money, and the CBA expires at the end of this month. This was a whole lot more than just a shot across the bow. The WNBA Finals begin this Friday, and we typically hear from Adam Silver on the eve of the NBA Finals. Cathy Engelbert has got to do more than say she's
Now, here's the thing that makes all of this even more embarrassing. Nobody is defending Cathy Engelbert. Not one player, not a coach, not even a PR intern running the league's social media accounts. Silence. Instead, a wave of players has come out against her. Lexi Hull spoke up. Sophie Cunningham didn't hold back, calling Engelbert the most delusional leader the WNBA's ever had. Even Gino Auriemma, who rarely agrees with anyone, said the league's excessive physicality is ruining the game. When rookies, veterans, and Hall of Fame coaches are all echoing the same message, that's not a coincidence. That's a crisis. And here's the real kicker. As Scott Van Pelt pointed out, this isn't just drama for headlines. This storm is hitting right before CBA negotiations. The players are done being underpaid, dismissed, and told to just be grateful. When your biggest stars are calling league leadership the worst in sports, and other veterans publicly back them up, that's not business as usual. That's an uprising. Van Pelt understood it perfectly. He said this wasn't just Nneka Ogwumika firing a warning shot, it was a message. Fix this, or we'll burn it down. And honestly, she wasn't bluffing. The players hold real power now. Caitlin Clark isn't just another rookie, she's an economy. She drives ticket sales, sponsorships, and TV ratings like the WNBA has never seen before. If Engelbert actually believes the league is bigger than the stars fueling it, she's either completely disconnected from reality or just refusing to see the truth. And then SVP turned the spotlight on officiating and the disrespect aimed at Caitlin Clark. He called it ridiculous to suggest Clark owes her fame to the WNBA. Everyone knows it's the opposite. Her NIL empire, her record-breaking TV numbers, her sellout crowds at Iowa, all that came before she even touched a WNBA court. The league didn't build Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark revived the league. Pretending otherwise isn't just clueless, it's self-sabotage. But what really hit home was what Van Pelt highlighted next: the silence. Not a single player has defended Engelbert. Instead, more voices keep piling on. From Lexi Hull to Sophie Cunningham to veteran stars around the league. Even respected coaches like Cheryl Reeve and Becky Hammon have been fined for criticizing the league's leadership and officiating. When criticism is that widespread and leadership's response is that weak, you're staring at a disaster waiting to explode. SVP didn't stop there. He brought up the optics. Because in sports, perception matters. Right before the finals, instead of hype around the matchup, the biggest story is players rip the commissioner, coaches fined, stars furious. That's not how you build excitement. That's how you build resentment. And Van Pelt nailed the ending. He said the league is standing at a flashpoint. Franchise values are skyrocketing. Expansion is on the table. Media rights could be worth billions. This should be the WNBA's golden age. But instead, the commissioner is under fire, the players are fed up, and fans are losing trust. That's not momentum, that's a meltdown. And it all points back to one thing: failed leadership at the top. Scott Van Pelt summed it up perfectly and brutally when a player like Napheesa Collier comes out and says, "We have the worst leadership in the world." That's not just an opinion, that's a direct challenge to the commissioner's job. And he's right. You can't spin that, you can't ignore it, and you definitely can't hide from it. You either prove everyone wrong through real action, or you step aside. And here's the uncomfortable truth Van Pelt hinted at: Adam Silver is watching very closely. Remember, the NBA funds and supports the WNBA. Silver has a massive stake in making sure this league doesn't collapse under its own chaos. So if top ESPN voices like Stephen A. Smith and Scott Van Pelt are openly questioning Cathy Engelbert's leadership, how long before Silver steps in and takes control? Because let's be honest, fans are already connecting the dots. Awful officiating, a commissioner who doesn't communicate with players, star injuries piling up, legends like Elena Del Don retiring without even a message from the league, players getting fined just for speaking the truth, and now the golden ticket, Caitlin Clark, being dragged into controversy because Engelbert decided to downplay her value. It's like the league is tripping over itself right when it should be sprinting towards success. Van Pelt wasn't just reporting, he was warning. Fix this now, or risk losing everything you've built. And he's absolutely right. If the WNBA can't protect its stars, can't ensure fair officiating, and can't even honor its own greats, why should fans believe the league is serious about growing? That's why Van Pelt's takedown hit so hard. He didn't yell or grandstand. He just laid out the truth piece by piece, and it was devastating. Collier's frustration, Del Don's silence from the league, Clark's unmatched value, the officiating issues, the leadership vacuum, put it all together and you see the same thing he did. A league being held back by its own commissioner, and the internet agreed. Fans were nodding along, players were reposting Collier's words. Even casual sports fans who barely follow the WNBA were saying this is a mess. When the outrage gets that loud, when players, fans, and ESPN's biggest names are all calling out the same problem, a weak press release about being disheartened isn't going to fix anything. Scott Van Pelt didn't need to scream to make his point. The truth spoke for itself. And now, the question everyone's asking is simple. Does Cathy Engelbert finally step down? Or does Adam Silver step in?